Last we left off, Chief and Ceradyn had established an ambush point at the ruins after escaping from the immediate vicinity of the soul-grasp encephalon. As the creature drew nearer, its voice began to infiltrate Ceradyn's mind, who chose to try and buy time with conversation. Chief delved deep into the ruins and interacted with the magic device that they had avoided previously. With his consciousness being transported deep into the machinations of the Lay Harvester, Chief was witness to a great display of the entirety of Exandria's ley lines, revealing what could be construed as a Quintus at one ley convergence, and a dark, void-like entity at another. Finding what looked to be a function designed to defend what was once a magical tower, Chief targeted the creature, blasting it with some of the stored ether in the system. Watching the creature's signature disappear, Chief was also shocked to see the same happen to Ceradyn. Rushing above ground again, after traversing the path taken into the device, Chief found Ceradyn's unconscious form under the rubble of the now destroyed remains of the tower. Channeling his newfound power, granted by Owlin, he renewed Ceradyn's life with the laying on of hands. Ceradyn, in this moment, you've come back to consciousness, exchanged a couple of words, but you're still there, effectively in Chief's arms. Chief, you're hunkered over the rubble in this section that you've opened up in front of you, where he was buried. Master seems to be worriedly nudging at Ceradyn ever so gently.
Sorry, my friend. I miscalculated, I guess. Are you doing okay?
Well, that was certainly something. Did you get it?
Based on what I was able to see, I believe so.
Oh.
It's really at this time, as you say that, both of you are able to kind of glance around a little bit, and the destruction is immense. There is not much left of the building. Chief, when you came out, the doorway and everything is effectively flattened. You didn't necessarily have to dig yourself out of rubble to get there, but it was pretty close. Not much stands of what was once a tower. Even the cliff face that surrounded it is collapsed and crushed down with large chunks of ice, some 10 to 15 feet in width, that are slowly evaporating back into ether. You can only imagine what the forest around where you actually targeted looks like.
It seems... Oh, go ahead.
We should definitely remember this place.
This for sure. It may help in the time to come. And did I have a map with me, if I remember right? I had a map.
Yeah, carrying a map is kind of an expectation, I feel. So. Actually, you were given one specifically by Lucinda.
Yeah, I'll kind of make like a X marks the spot.
Yeah, just make a survival check, just to see how,
flat 13.
How good you're able to judge. It's not a complicated mark to make. It's a large forest, to be fair. So in coming out here again, you're pretty certain that you've not marked, GPS coordinates, but with a little bit of searching. And with how this place was kind of already just some high ground in the first place, it wouldn't be too hard to find again.
Okay. Well, we should, we're probably safe in this area for a little bit, but we should think about heading back to Rexxentrum.
Yes. If you don't mind, I'm going to take it easy. And he just lies down on Master's back. Like,
Master has a pretty good sense of what's going on. He actually stoops down for you, helps to scoop you up, and yes, you are on his back. Now, to actually get a long rest, you wouldn't be able to do that on Master's back. But if you're traveling on his back, you would be able to achieve a short rest.
okay.
What time of day is it right now?
It's not quite evening. It's getting close, though. Light persists almost
I'd like
indefinitely in this region, though.
I'd like to guide Master and Ceradyn to where the jelly monster was, and maybe find maybe a way to camp out there for the night.
Okay. It takes a couple minutes longer than you'd expect, as the kind of stairs up the ramparts that originally gave you access are just gone. And you are climbing over conjuration, crumbling ice, sections of ice and rubble. And it's this strange experience where you look at this massive, chunk of ice, you go and reach to climb up to, you get partway up to it. And then on the other hand, your hand kind of sinks in and just pure ether, just kind of sections of it just fade and disappear. So a little bit of time is spent, but it's not particularly difficult to make your way. Finding any remains might be a challenge. So how much time would you be willing to spend to do that, and how would you look for it?
Well, when we get to the area that I'm pretty sure it was, I was wanting to set up camp anyway.
Okay.
To rest for the night, so I'd probably spend a few hours just trying to remember what I saw up close and personal in the cave, and just look for stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't think Ceradyn would be giving you any kind of help action, because he's just going to be sleeping.
Yeah, Master's back protecting you anyway. So
Yeah.
You're also dealing with a number of points of exhaustion, Ceradyn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's just sleeping.
Yeah.
no, that's perfectly fine.
So
I just be searching for what looked familiar.
Yeah, just make an investigation check, just straight.
Natural 20 for a 30.
Okay. So, effectively, you walk up to the crest of what was the outer rampart on the east side, which is where the creature actually came from. You kind of look right and left, and you see the circle. And you know that the center of the circle was where the creature was. And you move right to it. At first, nothing's there, because the largest concentration of conjured ice is here, but its arcane decay is accelerating, and more of it is dissipating. Now, here towards the center, the temperature is dropping rapidly, and actually, Ceradyn, it actually rouses you. You can feel that if Chief were to walk into the very center of this right now, it might hurt.
Sorry, was doing the short
Yeah,
list
you're good.
dies that I picked. So it got roused by what exactly?
The biting cold. It is so unbelievably cold right now, and you're acclimated to cold, but this is something else.
Can I? I don't know if Ceradyn knows if Master can understand just regular speech. So, but he's gonna rolled over. It's really cold. We need to get Chief. And just hope that Master knows to go to him.
First, roll an animal handling check.
Okay.
Start speaking Japanese back to you.
Basically. 6.
Recite. 6. Well, he also rolled a 2 on an intelligence check to understand you, so he kind of just is bobbing his head and following Chief towards the center of the cold.
Oh, I said Master would be back with Ceradyn at the little campfire.
Oh, so we're not with you.
So I thought you were making camp in the center. Oh,
No, I was going to the area and then I was searching.
Okay, I see. So you're actually okay, Ceradyn. Okay. Now, the biting cold is still there. It does rouse you. And you could tell that if you were to move towards the center, it would not be good. You can sense you're healing now. The short rest technically hasn't taken place yet, but you're good on that.
In the progress,
it's in progress. If you were to move into it now, with how much you're just clinging to life, you would probably slip. Chief, eventually you start to see what really only amounts to a puddle of blue in an area.
Okay.
There's a lot of it. There's a large creature. Quite a large creature. There's not much detail left. But on a 30, you can make out the outline of a couple of things. The first is that it does look like it was using its pseudopods for locomotion. It was reaching out and pulling itself. You can see that even under the battering of this immense arcane strike, it was still attempting to move, if only for a moment. And you can almost see like the splatted outline of pseudopods that were reaching out about 15, 20 feet, and the body stretching. And then the body separated in two while one section continued to move. There doesn't seem to be anything of like intrinsic value in the remains. The creature was itself the source of the power that it used. It was itself, it looked like a mind of some sorts. Did not hold anything. But there's no telling, as with the parts of any other creature, what the material of this creature's form could be used for. And there is a lot of it.
I would like to gather like 2 just little vials of the goo or the blue ooze or whatever in the puddles.
Okay.
And then if there's any like bigger chunks of it that would fit into the bag of holding, just a couple of them.
There are no chunks of any kind. It seems that the level of power that was used here completely smeared this creature. Now, as finally the last of the ice begins to dissipate, I do need you to make a Constitution saving throw, because even as a Warforged, this cold is exceptional.
That's a 10.
A 10 is enough to not take damage, but your movement speed is halved while within this. You're in the first stages of freezing solid.
I'm just there to grab a couple of those vials and head back.
Of course. Yeah. And you do. You gather 2 vials of encephalon goo, I guess, if you want to call it that.
And I think when you come back, Ceradyn will have slipped off of the top of Master and like be in a ball underneath Master, like trying to be warm.
Kind of huddling up like animals do.
Yeah.
And, Master's form, it's not warm, but it does provide a little bit of shelter to the light breeze, and he gets on the side of you that is towards the epicenter of the event.
Okay.
As you curl up and unconsciousness begins to take you for rest, both of you are able to see what was originally kind of this hill that rose up to the cliff face that then went down into the ramparts of the tower is now more of a caldera. The earth has been moved substantially. It's effectively a crater. But not through a singular impact, but a consistent battering of massive volumes of ice.
Jeez.
But Ceradyn, you do fall unconscious.
Okay.
And before I fall asleep, I'm going to set up a small fire kind of close, so it'll help warm.
Warmth hits you in your dream, Ceradyn, but not in your waking consciousness.
Tell Master to keep an eye out and kind of shut down a little bit.
Okay, just go ahead and roll a d20 and add Master's wisdom mod for perception. At this point, the short rest would have taken place, Ceradyn. What were you able to bring yourself up to with hit dice?
I used 3, so it got me up to 25. One of them was a nat 1, so it kind of sucked, but...
Yeah, not great on perception. It looks like Master, you give him the order to kind of pay attention, but he looks very, very specifically concerned about Ceradyn. And seems to be...
He got a 5 total.
Yeah. He seems very, very particularly and specifically concerned about Ceradyn. You're confident that if Ceradyn were attacked, he would do something about it immediately, but if you got attacked, he might not notice.
Oh, he likes me.
That's better for it anyways.
Yep. Serves the purposes. Night does fall. Chief, it takes you a little bit of time to fall asleep. There's a little bit of there's an odd sensation for you in this. You've gone through, in very, very short duration, 2 events of your consciousness being separated from your body. And you know that sensation either when you're really sick or you're taking a medicine that kind of hits you and you're just a little bit separated. You know? That halo of your vision being tunneled. You're experiencing that. It's not really going away. It takes you time going to standby. But you do eventually fall asleep. The night goes by, as far as you both know, without incident. And 1 long rest is achieved, which Ceradyn does only clear 1 of your, I believe, 4 points of exhaustion. Ceradyn, you are actually the first awake, as Chief is still shut down when you rise. You have both slept relatively late into the morning, as the sun is not only just peeking over the trees, but has, risen in the east, even above the Dunrock Mountains, which are right next to you. So,
does when points of exhaustions are recovered, do death saves recover, or is that
1 at a time? Yep.
So do I pick one or the other, or both?
No, it's simultaneous.
Okay.
They're linked because the exhaustion is because of the failed death saves. So.
Okay. Just making sure. Thank you.
Yep, you're good.
Well, my friend, I think we should make the trek back. You just go
Oh,
ahead.
you're still asleep. You're still asleep, Chief.
This is me in my brain sleeping.
Nice way to play it off.
To the Candy Mountain, Charlie.
Sure.
But yes, Ceradyn, you wake, and you wake to see Master still curled around you, responds to you. Master doesn't seem to sleep. Doesn't even seem to go into like any kind of standby like Chief does. But Chief is still shut down, just sat against a tree.
I think that the level of exhaustion that he feels from that encounter, he's gonna, kind of get out from underneath Master and tend to the fire, get it back up and big, and then
It's down to embers at this point.
Yeah, and once it's big again, he might just hunker back down underneath him again.
Okay. You do that, and how long would you spend before you grow worried about Chief?
I think at his level of exhaustion, he wouldn't think much about Chief, and he'd go back to sleep.
Tyler, roll a d20 for me, please.
Nine. Weird, it looks like a 19.
A 9. Okay. So Ceradyn, you go back to sleep. You wake in the late afternoon. Another long rest, of course, but Chief still lies motionless against the tree in the same position. A light snowfall has built up on his shoulders and head.
I think this is where Ceradyn would begin to worry. And come over to Chief.
Now, before you do that, I have to step away for like 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Gryffindor? What? You're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Oh.
I got a seedling.
What is that?
Seedling. And he grows into Groot.
That's amazing. I love it.
Cassie found it at Walgreens. Baby Groot.
We might need to have Austin turn the music down a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of loud now. I need to put something in my dice tower that is more reliable kicking the dice out the door.
I think I'm going to build.
Don't worry.
It doesn't want to work. Ah! You could turn the blur off without turning the camera off.
I did not know that.
That's awesome.
It's still in a work in progress of being painted, but
Yeah. So did you order it and paint it, or did you build it?
there was a guy on Facebook in town. He prints them out, so I paid him $20 to print it.
Nice.
So let's see change video background. That's awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
I figured it out. Yay!
I think that... Oh, man. Never mind. That's a surprise.
It's muted, but he's talking about something for
All
next
right.
year when we all meet up, probably.
He's telling us we're ugly.
All right. I'm back. So, yes, Ceradyn, you've grown worried now about Chief.
So
You surmise at a quick glance at the sun, it's been the whole day.
He's gonna get up, and as he's getting out from under Master, be like, "That's odd." And look at Master and start heading over to Chief. Chief? Hello?
There's no response.
My little tiny form's gonna give him a little nudge.
You know, just by the physics, you have no effect.
Yeah, none. It's like pushing a boulder. Like,
exactly.
Dust off some snow.
Effectively.
Master?
He perks up and looks at you.
Come here, Master. Come here, boy.
Make another animal handling check. Oh. He rolled a natural 20 on an intelligence check.
Good thing he's smart. I rolled a 3.
A 3 minus your still 1 remaining point of exhaustion, right?
Actually 2, so it's a 1.
2. It's a 1. Okay. So he does get up, and then he wanders off.
Yeah. So much for that. He said he nestled down under a tree, right?
Yeah, well, he's kind of just like sat up against it. And to call this a tree is a little bit of an overstatement, given what's left. It's a tall stump.
Dang it, so there's nothing above him.
No.
I'm going to... This is going to do another animal handling check, I'm sure. But...
Failing the same thing over and over again raises the DC every time.
I know.
So you know.
I know. I'm going to grab what feels like a big branch to me.
So a twig.
No,
Okay.
like it's going to be... I mean, it's probably
a twig.
a few feet in length.
Okay.
But, you know,
it's a pretty good dog stick. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm... Master!
Go ahead and make another animal handling check. Given that you've failed, it's going to be a higher DC, but we'll see.
I'm basically trying to use his weight to knock on Chief.
Given that you're playing to the natural proclivities of a
it's a 2
dog, you know, it's at this point you realize Master does look and looks at you, and then you swear you see him shake his head. And he just continues. He kind of walks around a ridge.
Drop it.
Just exploring.
I thought so. It's not metal. And then I think what I'll try to do is get like some of the coals from the fire, using sticks to roll them closer, to build up the fire next to Chief. And you know what? No, I'm not gonna move the fire next to Chief. I'm gonna use some sticks to get a hot rock and try to wake him up with a hot rock in his lap.
Okay.
See how this works.
I'm assuming you would kind of pick a rock that you're capable of moving, I imagine. So I'm not going to make you roll any kind of real check for that. But
yeah, no.
You set a hot rock that's probably blisteringly hot for normal skin. Are you setting it onto the mechanical flesh or the armor? And it's really at this point that you take a second to kind of look at the, I don't know if anatomy is the right word, the construction of Chief. And you see that there's, like 2 distinct portions of him.
Okay. I think bringing it over and starting to like look over him, like, where am I going to put this? He's like, not even like, I don't know if this being feels pain. So I'm going to set the rock back and pick up that stick again and just whack him.
Pulling a drac, are you?
All right, Chief, roll a d20. Hard enough to hit him? Like to hit him, or
Yeah, I'm
him?
gonna whack him. I mean, I'm a small being.
Okay,
I have to swing.
Well,
Effectively, just roll the damage of an unarmed strike.
Okay. So
And
unarmed.
what needs to happen here is that there's kind of an inverse thing going on here. Chief's roll needs to be high enough. You know about like rolling with emphasis? Unarmed strike damage 0 because you have no strength mod.
Oh my gosh, is that what it is? I was like, what is it giving me a 0 for?
Because with a pure unarmed strike, you cannot deal damage. That's why I asked you to do it.
What?
You know that somewhere some sarcastic asshole is clapping. You lack the mass at your size to impart damage with a melee strike without a weapon.
Okay. So I tried to move a boulder. I
Back
tried to
the
whack
hot
a
rock.
boulder. I tried to get something to move. All right. To the hot rock. And I'm gonna put it in between what looks like armor on the outside. I just want to like put it into the crevice.
Actually getting to flesh. Well,
Whatever.
flesh.
Because I don't know if he feels pain.
Okay, I'm gonna roll some fire damage. Go ahead and roll another d20, Chief. That was a lot. Okay, so I rolled 9 fire damage, by the way.
Jeez.
Which, it kind of makes sense given that this is being intentionally and being allowed to be placed like directly into your flesh. You do take the 9 points of fire damage,
Yay.
but your consciousness clicks into play. And you don't necessarily experience pain, but you're aware when you're taking damage, and that hurt.
You see Chief's shield just pop out of his arm, ready for a fight.
Oh. Chief. I couldn't rouse you. Are you okay?
Good morning.
No. It's afternoon.
Shield will go away. I'm like, what happened?
I couldn't wake you, and Master was less than helpful, so I put a hot rock from the fire under your armor. It's right there.
At this point, when you kind of roused, it would have fallen out. But
Oh, okay.
as best you can tell, Chief, this was a normal standby mode for you. Normal rest.
Well, being this getting late in the day, we should probably move. Figure out why I was out so long. It felt normal. But Master, let's go.
And Master comes immediately trotting from around the corner, responding perfectly to Chief's command and call.
Some help you, boy.
Kind of shoulder checks you on the way past.
I imagine I'll hear that story later.
Don't bet on it.
Ceradyn, are you good to fly, or do you want to, you can ride on my shoulder or ride on Master? Relax a little bit more.
I am feeling much better. If you don't mind, I would like to still rest a bit. And he hops up onto Master.
Right. We'll trek down towards Rexxentrum, back to town.
All right. And from the higher vantage points, it's not that you can directly see Rexxentrum. It's still a good ways away. And it's going to be a day and a half travel by foot. You can kind of tell where a city is in the distance. There's just the trees clear, and then beyond that, there's just a little bit of shape. You know that when you drop down below this high ground, you're going to lose that, but you have a defined, followable direction. And you do set off. Who would like to make the D20 roll for the day?
I will.
Okay, go ahead and just roll a D20.
That is a 19, sire.
Relatively quickly, as the night begins to fall, it does darken, which normally doesn't happen here. You quickly realize that a thick storm is approaching from the direction of Rexxentrum. It is going to blizzard. You can see it approaching a half-mile away, a complete whiteout. Will the two of you continue moving, or will you stop for the night? Go ahead.
What is around us at this moment with how much progress we've made?
You traveled for about 4 hours, and you are just in the thick of forest.
Any natural, not like cave systems, but like formations
A
that we can
survival
hunt
check. Yeah, make a survival check, and Ceradyn, if you would be helping, then it would be an advantage.
Yeah, I think I would give a help, because I want to gauge from last time we saw the city in the distance how far I think we might be, and whether or not we could make it there within like an hour or two.
You're already pretty certain that that's not the case. You know that you have about a day's travel on foot. When you were flying, you made good time.
Yeah.
Now that's not an option unless you separated. But also, pretty much the moment you go up, you see a wall of white approaching.
So as I said, advantage then, since
Yes, still advantage because you do have help. Pretty much
Natural
immediately
20.
after seeing that. Natural 20, okay. There's no caves, but what you do find is the husk of what was a very, very large tree with a hollow beneath. And within that hollow, there is actually tattered rags, a circle of stones, a small pile of firewood with a note.
go ahead and read it.
In reading it, it's pretty simple. It's written in rather broken common. Doesn't seem like necessarily educated people. And it just says, a safe place. Restock the firewood when you're done.
All right, I'll call up to Ceradyn. Ceradyn, we got a shelter.
Oh,
You
wonderful.
barely hear it. You barely hear it from on high as there is a roaring wind approaching from this blizzard. But you do come down. And it's a pretty good hollow. Chief, you can nearly stand straight in this. And so it's kind of this tree trunk that's 15 feet in diameter once upon a time, broken off at about the 30-foot level and just gone from that point up. Two large sets of roots and a deep hollow that goes inside. And in that hollow, you look up and the outside rim of the tree, the last few layers and the bark still stand, The roof is not complete, but you get the sense that as the snow piles on, it's going to seal itself.
Before we hunker down, if there's enough time, I'd like to find just some extra firewood already, just to let it start drying out inside of the hollow.
And I'll
Given
the fire going.
Go ahead. Okay. Given that you guys had basically just woken up, I mean, you have as much time as you'd like to spend, but if you continue, like desynced from a normal schedule, you don't know how that'll affect your travel. So it's up to you. If you want to create a massive stockpile of wood, it wouldn't be too hard.
It's really just enough to replace what's there.
Okay. 1 night of wood. Easy enough to find that. What you do find, it's kind of sopping wet because before this blizzard moving in, a lot of the snow was beginning to melt. There was still a pretty good cover of snow across everything, but it's that slushy, thick, deep, damp snow.
I'll bring it in and set it aside to let it start drying as
Okay.
Ceradyn will start on it.
There seems to almost be this kind of like natural rise and then fall to the entrance of this hollow, such that, you're pretty certain no water or wetness, no snow is going to be making its way in. It's pretty good. And you two are there for the night. You so choose.
What'd you see up there, Ceradyn? How bad is the storm?
All I saw was a wall of white. Nothing else. It's gonna be a big one. Hey,
I'd hate to spend too much time away from the town, but we should probably stay the night. Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's definitely best for our safety. And I'm curious. You may not be able to answer this question, but do you feel pain?
I know when pain is supposed to occur, but I only can tell you that pain is kind of an abstract meaning to me. I feel pressure, and that's when I know I've been hit or something. Something signals in my brain. But other than that, it's hard for me to feel. It's the same thing with scent and stuff like that.
Fair enough. Yes, fair enough.
Well, if there's no other interaction that would be taking place, Ceradyn, it's easy enough for you to fall asleep. Your body is still not 100%. Chief, again, it takes you a little bit, but you do feel you shut down normally. Master guards the door. The night goes by without event. Ceradyn, you're roused a couple of times in the night by just the roar of wind. It is a pretty violent blizzard. But you do wake in the morning before Chief.
Would this have been enough rest?
Another long rest, yes.
Okay. Update those.
The fire seems to have, preserved itself really well in this place. It's actually kind of warm in here.
Awesome. I think I would wait for a little bit and maybe check outside and see what had occurred, how bad it is.
Looking to the door, white.
It's just covered across.
It is covered across with about, like a 2-foot slope into the entrance of the hollow. You have no idea how deep it is.
Wonderful. I'm gonna look up. And that's sealed over with snow too?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the holes that were present and sealed over, it's kind of just like when wood starts to rot. They were just small channels.
Yeah, okay.
The air actually feels a little thin, as a fire was running in an enclosed space.
Gonna climb the slope a little bit, or try to, and just try to start like digging away at the upper level.
Getting up to the top of it, you're light enough not to disturb loose snow. Effectively, like right as you touch the top lip, it pushes out to open air. But this means that the snowfall was almost 7 feet high.
But now there's fresh air coming in.
But now there's fresh air, and as it hits you, you realize a little bit longer, this probably could have been bad.
Oh, thank goodness. And I think I'm just gonna like open up more of the area around the door, and then see what I can do at the roof to try and like make another air channel. And if stuff falls, I want to be aware of that. But
you come out. Okay, and again, this tree was 15-ish feet in diameter, and it has a mound of snow sat atop of it. For you, it would take days to clear this.
Okay, yeah, seeing that, my plan just goes back to making sure that we have enough air from the doorway, and then going back in.
That easy enough. Pretty quickly after kind of moving the side, you feel basically the hot air rushing out and cold air moving in, kind of on two sides of the opening.
So yeah, just come back in. Check, make sure that Master's still there, and
he is.
Chief hasn't roused yet, so I just want to wait a little bit because yesterday was interesting, and I'm not like accustomed to his shutdown patterns. So
okay. And he did say it was normal. How long would you wait before growing concerned?
I think I would wait till midday, going out and collecting firewood as I could from upper
You'd be taking
dead
tree
trees.
tops. Yeah.
So
you're accustomed to that anyway, so.
Yeah. But I think I would wait till midday to be like, maybe I should try to rouse him.
And midday does come, with you having built up a pretty substantial pile of kindling that would be really useful for the next person that comes along here. Master is up against Chief, actually like nudging him and prodding him a little bit.
Okay. Chief.
No response.
I suppose you can't tell me how normal this is. Looking at Master. And then
Yeah, exactly. Just that head turn, and then goes back to kind of nudging Chief.
mine does the same thing. Owl.
Yep. Yeah, except much more.
And then
Then you turn 360.
Yeah, exactly.
oh.
You could always try an unarmed strike again.
Let's see, where is... I don't want to do that.
You don't want to burn him again?
I think I actually am going to burn him again.
Okay. The fire is actually still in great condition. Been burning all night. Had a pretty good log that's dropped a couple of hot coals. Now, there's not really necessarily any small rocks. Mostly just a couple of, decently glowing embers.
Yeah.
The only rocks in here were the large ring of rocks that
Yeah,
actually enclosed the fire pit.
I figured this one would be more of a chunk of wood. So,
Okay.
I'll bring it over and look at Master. We've got to wake him. I don't know how else to do this. Put it on him.
He just watches you do it. So go ahead. I'll have you roll the 2d6 fire damage and Chief roll the d20.
Okay.
Chief, add your con modifier to it.
Just 2d6.
Yep. So 5 total, Chief. Which one's closer to 20? Not enough. Chief doesn't immediately wake. Chief does not immediately wake this time. Which actually, there's this sinking feeling in your gut a little bit as, this worked yesterday.
I take that 7, right?
Yes, you do.
All right, boy. You're gonna have to move, and I'm gonna come to get in between him, try to give him the hint to back away as I try to squeeze in between the two of them.
Make either a strength or animal handling check.
I don't have many options here.
You have a worried hound trying to wake their master.
I have another idea, but I don't want to be attacked by that hound.
So is this strength or animal handling?
It rolled 2.
We'll take the one that goes up top, but I don't think it resolved.
It was a 16 on my screen, and then it just did a weird thing.
Yeah, it just didn't resolve in the game log. So a 16.
So, essentially, Master, if I'm incapacitated or out, he has free roam to do whatever he wants.
Yep, he is whatever he is. Now, so was that animal handling or strength?
That was animal handling, and it would have been a 15 because I still have a point of exhaustion.
Right. So he rolled relatively high on his intelligence, and he does make way for you.
Good, because I didn't want him to be in this as well, and I'm going to shocking grasp. Try to jolt him awake.
Oh, jump starting a car. Okay.
Come on, Chief.
Go ahead and roll the damage for it. And again, Chief, 20 plus your con mod.
Wake up! And 7. It's not anything big, so.
Chief does not rouse.
Oh.
The body, twitches a bit as the electricity courses through it, but every body you've ever shocked does that. So, But yes, Chief, you take that 7 more of lightning damage.
Turning back to Master. I don't know what to do, boy. That's where he's at, I think, at this point. You know, him pushing on him does nothing. Like, it doesn't even wiggle anything.
No, you lack the mass. Except maybe with leverage.
Is there anything in the stump? Just
Just go ahead and make an investigation check.
Okay. 3.
You know, at this point, you're a little bit flustered.
Yep.
As you don't. There's the concern for Chief, of course, but it's more just the not understanding what is going on that's getting to you, and it distracts you. You see the fire, you see where you kind of roosted, and there's not much in here.
I also left that wood ember when I went to do it, so it's been sitting there for a minute.
It would have, the heat would have been synced away pretty quickly.
Okay.
So a rock, right, is going to continue to burn.
Yeah.
Just a single coal, not so much.
Okay.
Well, Master, Chief, go ahead and roll a bite attack damage for Master, because that's what he just decided to do.
It's joining in.
He rolled high on his intelligence to understand what you were doing.
Oh, okay.
His
And
attack-
that it worked yesterday.
He doesn't have a bite attack. It's a forced empowered rend. It says melee weapon attack.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always just depends on like how you flavor how he's doing it. It's a bite in this instance, but in your investigation, as haphazard as it is,
You wanted the
Eight.
the damage, or the
Yeah.
the okay,
damage.
that was to hit. That was,
That was a natural one to hit. You can't miss an unconscious, incapacitated creature. So
that'd be 10 damage.
okay, so you take the 10 force damage, and then go ahead and roll again. D20 plus con.
18
Finally.
plus 3.
So like these rolls have to cross, right? So there's damage and then the positive. They have to, meet each other.
Okay.
You wake Chief to basically, like the section of your thigh right above your knee. Master has just like chomped into it.
Master, what's going on?
And he wiggles a little bit and then settles down onto you, kind of nuzzles where he just bit.
You, my friend. I could not wake you again. Perhaps you should not go into standby for a while, till we know what's going on.
We should probably get to town as soon as we can. Phil, like I've taken on some damage.
I tried to wake you several ways this time. Burning, amongst others.
There, give me a second. I'll just thump myself twice. Cast a second level cure wounds on myself.
Okay. Yeah, total 24 damage. Ooh, yeah, that wasn't great.
14.
Okay, not bad. Everything but Master's bite, effectively, is recovered.
I think the music
Go
is
ahead.
getting a little loud, just so you know.
Oh, it's been unchanged.
I know, but you know how it undulates and gets to those high points?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Chief, it is at this point you recognize that, yeah, some things going on. You've never really had to, get checked up. You're aware of machines needing correction and maintenance and replacements regularly. You're not certain if the same kind of thing is true for this body.
Maybe when we get back to town, person we're going to meet up with, maybe she'll be able to direct me in the right path to go get checked out before we try to go meet with the others.
Who is this person?
It's an enchantress. Part of the reason why I was up in that cave. She told me where to pick up the stones, and I've gotten some other materials for her as well. Her name was it pronounced Onda?
Onda, yep.
Yeah, Onda.
Onda.
So, and I initially came out looking just for the stones, but I found a lot of good things in return for this. So, I'll stand up.
Ceradyn,
Go ahead.
as he speaks, I found a lot of good things.
Oh.
He doesn't notice.
Your speech just had repeated hiccups, so you're aware, so we definitely should get you checked out.
No time to waste then. Stand up and start heading for the entrance.
I'm
Okay.
paying a close attention to him now, like...
Okay. Yeah, just roll what will be a persistent perception check.
Okay.
Chief, it becomes clearly apparent to you that the entryway, aside from about a 2-foot section up at the top, is completely blocked with snow.
So that was a 14.
Okay.
Okay. Have an idea. Well, first I want to start trying to dig out, see how that works.
It's easy enough. It's not packed. I mean, towards the very bottom, you can tell it's probably pretty dense from all the weight. Moving the snow isn't going to be particularly difficult. And you're able to make a path.
I want to get out of the trunk to make it to see how like strenuous of a path I'm going to have to deal with.
It's so right up against the trunk and basically around like the bases of trees, of larger trees and stuff like that. It's about 8 feet. Into the more open sections, except where underbrush props it up, it's probably about 6. It's not going to be great. It's not going to hurt you by any means. And Ceradyn, as you fly outside, the sky is clear as far as the eye can see. And the blanket of white covers everything.
So, for perspective, you said it's like 6 feet deep. So him coming out
shorter than
6 feet in the lower sections, but up against trees and stuff where it kind of piled. Would be 8.
when he pushes his way out through it, what all is visible of him for Ceradyn above?
About this much.
There's just shoulders and head.
Like the 5 foot pool, 5 foot end of the pool.
Good. So I can land on his shoulder and effectively be above the snow still. Okay. All right. Which he will do.
And Master is about a foot lower than the.
Yeah, Master's like doing that dog thing, probably where like he hops and you see him appear for a second.
He's leaping. he'll tunnel for a little bit, and then appear somewhere you don't expect him. Yeah, it's interesting.
So, for a flavor type of thing to make way to try to speed up process, I want to try and do 2 different things.
Okay.
I want to bring out my shield, and since it's a cantrip, but you can tell me where I want to cast some fire bolts, but just kind of concentrated right on the shield as I push through, trying to melt it.
Ah,
But
okay.
at the same time, I'm going to cast Expeditious Retreat to
Ooh.
move fast.
So, Expeditious Retreat lasts for a minute.
Good question. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. So, and basically, I think it basically triples your speed because it gives you an extra dash, right?
Yeah, what it says, it allows you to move at impeccable pace. Cast as a bonus action on each of your turns, you can take a dash action.
Yeah.
So I get
it's
the move,
okay. So it's like
dash, dash.
Yep. So it's like a 50% increase in your total limit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what would normally be difficult terrain and reducing your speed by half, you are instead 50% faster than that, which would put it at 75% of your normal speed. You can tell things are still slow. You're able to do what you're wanting to do. For those 10 minutes at least.
Yeah.
When you get to the end of that, you've made a substantial channel behind you. And the melting helps, but after the 10 minutes, you look at your shield, and if you continue that, you will destroy the shield. It might be saving you some time. It's not made for this.
Well, this kind of worked.
You made great distance.
How far along do you think we have till we get to the town?
Ceradyn, would you like to roll a perception check?
With that, I think I'll shoot up in the air to see if I can see any trails for us to make our way to.
Okay.
So, yeah, perception. It's an 11.
12. Okay. It is harder to see in the distance, kind of like that depression that signals Rexxentrum off on the horizon. But the day is clear. There are not necessarily any trails or roads. Everything seems to be just covered.
Oh. Sorry, my friend. I'm not seeing much. Even the animals are hunkered down in this one, I think.
I'm gonna keep my shield out, but not casting the spell anymore. I'm going to use it as kind of like a shovel of sorts, a scoop.
Kind of like paddling and scooping.
Yeah, and just to head towards town.
It makes a bit of difference. You know, it kicks you up from half speed to 55%, right? Every bit counts.
Can I use my mage hand to help?
For 5 pounds of snow at a time, you could. Cantrip, right?
I mean, it's
about every 15 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever helps at this point. So yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. It does. It gives the tiniest bit of aid. You might get there at 8 p.m. rather than 8:01. You know, but as a cantrip, it's easy enough to just sit there and flick snow back and forth. You find yourself, you actually end up kind of just using it as, oh, we're going this way, as you fly up and continually provide guidance. It is by about nightfall that you can finally start to see lights starting to kick on the horizon. The larger city lights. You could travel through the night. You may incur points of exhaustion. But, Chief, you're concerned about going into standby mode in the first place. So it's up to you.
Ceradyn, why don't you go ahead and get some rest? Me and Master will just keep pushing through.
Okay. With that, I think you're using your arms a lot, so I think Ceradyn would probably squat into a ball on your head. Yep.
Yep.
It reminds me of an anime I saw recently.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll have to look it up.
Okay. Yep, there's an owl on your head. You know, you find you're probably not gonna be able to sleep, Ceradyn, so you basically still sit there flicking stuff back
Yeah.
and forth, but much less often you go up into the air to come down and do reconnaissance for everything. Now, about come on map. There we go. About an hour past nightfall, you actually break from the tree line, and the city is in view in front of you. Probably going to take about another hour to get there, but shortly after nightfall, should be within the city, assuming you're permitted entry.
And things are... Does it look like work has been done on the outside of the city at all to clear things? From where we can see?
Hard to tell from this distance because you're still at the level of all of the snow, unless you wanted to go up and look.
I think I would, especially getting...
Okay, yeah, just roll a
closer
perception
approach.
check.
Okay. And it's a 14.
Okay. See, from an hour away, you can tell that many rooftops have been cleared. You can see the color of the stone tiles and shingles.
Okay.
It's highly likely streetways have been cleared. That was likely something that was being constantly done.
Yeah.
The roads inward, the one from the south really looks to be pretty clear. But you guys are kind of approaching from the east-northeast, so
Yeah.
you're just kind of moving through open field. This has not been managed, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
The hour does close, and you do make your way to the outer gates of Rexxentrum. And it is at this point that the both of you are witness to how Rexxentrum handles their snow. A behemoth of an automaton with shovels for arms and quadrupedal legs dumps it into this furnace in the back, which turns the entirety of the snow into steam. This huge billowing cloud rises up every time, and warm water, almost looks like it's peeing, pours out the bottom and wipes everything that it wasn't able to scoop away.
That could have been useful.
This thing is probably about 25 feet tall from
Jeez.
base to head and about 30 feet long. This thing is doing an immense amount of work. And you can see this path around the outer wall that goes all the way around, of basically like this smooth cut into the snow.
I'm gonna... Ceradyn's head is gonna pop down into your vision and be like, perhaps that's your next upgrade, eh?
I may
Snowplow.
need to be a little bigger.
But it crosses in front of your view. And then you step out onto what is steam and steaming water that has cleared the cobblestone in front of you. And gate is there.
I'm seeing, like, my brain is imagining a wall
Yeah, this
of
is Homer
snow,
Simpson. Yeah.
like, steps out, and
Yep.
then, like, mastered, like, just poof, like,
Like the Kool-Aid man through a wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But Master is about 10 seconds behind, and it's actually enough that you, like, look around for him for a second. And when you look this way, he pops out right here, and it's, oh. But he does burst out, and he is like covered in rime and frost that has like hard stuck to him because he's been traveling in the snow,
yeah.
just like you, Chief, for this entire time.
Did you have fun there?
He shakes, and some of the ice falls off, but not all of it. Though the steam that's rising from the ground, it's actually quite warm, is kind of defrosting the two of you.
Well, let's get into town. But to the gate.
You go to the gate. There's not a line at this one, and the guards are actually kind of feet kicked up on a table that has some cards and dice on it.
And I have moved to his shoulder at this time. I'm not on the top of his head anymore.
Okay. One of the guards looks to be kind of basically passing out. It's 11 o'clock right now or so.
Okay.
Is kind of and sees you. Coming into the city at this time of night. Hello.
We're just getting back from a quest.
Give me a moment. He stands up and he goes into the guard post to the side of the portcullis. Speaks with someone for a little bit. Steps out, kind of straightens himself. A quest, so at whose service?
The Enchantress Onda.
Okay, gathering materials?
Yes. We got some materials, some ones that I haven't seen before either, so it might be some new stuff for her.
It's good to hear. Well, no reason to restrict your entry. It's just odd to have somebody come in at this time of night, especially the way that you just did. And he points back, and there's basically a chief-shaped tube that has been cut, and then a master both into the wall.
Indeed.
I sympathize with the difficulty of your travels. And he waves his hand, and two guards do come and pull the portcullis open. This one doesn't seem to have any kind of automatic function. They're having to crank it open. But it does open. You are allowed entry into the city. Within the city, there's still patches of snow. There's still some piles of snow. The streets are totally clear. That creature, or automaton rather, looks like it almost like perfectly fits the portcullis and almost perfectly fits the streets. So it's designed for that purpose. They are all totally clear. Most of the roofs are clear, as the heat from in the homes has cleared them.
Being the time of night it is, I'll head to where I've been building the cart.
Okay. Doesn't take you too long. Doesn't take you guys too long to reach there. Describe to Ceradyn what he sees upon entering this place.
All right. I'm actually have a basic image of what it is.
Mm-hmm. Over to the chat, I guess.
It's in the chat. But more metallic in nature.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
And you'll see off to the side a couple of things a little bigger than Chief that look like giant pigs or warthogs. And if you were to go inside, you'll have the tour the next day where you can look right now, but there's seating, there's chests, there's even a perch for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And on top there is a spot where a mount at some point in the future is a plan where a mounted ballista could go. But it is metallic in nature, but comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll hold the whole party very comfortable.
My, you have been busy, my friend.
I figured this would be able to help in our journey to save people.
Wonderful.
It is at this point, though. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, you got it.
I'm calling it the warthog.
Because of those?
Yeah, because
points to the pigs. Are they like automaton pigs, or are they?
They're a lot like Master in some ways.
Oh, okay.
They're just a little bit bigger, same kind of spiky design, but they're standing like a statue basically at the moment.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't know that they're sentient, or not. Like they're just statues at the moment.
Yeah, they're unmoving at the moment.
There's just nothing going on with them right now.
So, do those any gestures that Master? Do they come awake like him?
That is the hope.
Ah, not yet. Okay.
That's what these are for. As I show them the things again, then we'll tuck them back away. But for now, I'm pretty sure the Enchantress is probably resting for the night. So
yes, which you are not going to do, right?
I will stay up and tinker on the cart some more.
Okay.
But you are more than welcome to get some good rest.
Okay. I'll feel better if you tell Master to make sure you're awake before I go to sleep.
Oh, he'll keep me busy, won't you, boy?
It just nuzzles you.
All right.
For the night's tinkering, Chief, you're nearing completion. You're almost ready to input the final piece into the automatons that will be running this. As of right now, those pieces are empty, but perhaps it's not too hard to get something to put in there. Just roll a d20. Okay. You feel that when these gems, treated however they need to be, when they are filled, it's ready. It's finally ready.
Just put some for the rest of the cart. I'll just find some like barrels that'll fit in for like liquids or just stuff to make it kind of like a roaming, like a motorhome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I imagine that these are things you kind of would have planned. So taking those things in, fastening them down, final touches. Which does mean you incur a point of exhaustion over the night. Ceradyn, you wake up with your final point of exhaustion clear. And you wake up to Chief tinkering away, but looks to be finally stepping away, putting his hands on his hips a little bit and looking at his work.
This will be glorious.
I take it it's ready now for the next stage?
As long as our meeting up with the Enchantress goes well, yes. You'll see that I've even moved the 2 warthogs into their places as well.
They're lashed and clasped in.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, maybe we head to the Enchantress.
Lead the way, friend.
All right. We'll head that way.
Okay. Walking through the city, now into the, no, not quite early morning, as Ceradyn, your rest took you, well into 8 or 9 o'clock. It doesn't take long to make your way to the Enchantress's shop, which I believe was called...
Yeah, I don't remember on the name of the shop.
Yeah, I'm grabbing it. I have it on a drive. Oh, that's right. It's Thadine's endless emporium of enchanted eccentricities.
That's why I didn't remember it. Okay.
Yeah, rather large sign, but very
Thadine's?
recognizable from it. Thadine's endless emporium of enchanted eccentricities. And it's kind of, it's kind of like a cylindrical 2-story building, that has like these dark maroon velvet curtains on it.
That's amazing. I love it.
Walking inside, there's all manner, Ceradyn, of knickknacks and baubles in, tagged boxes and whatnot. It feels very gift shoppy, but Chief has brought you here. There must be a reason.
Okay.
I'll approach someone I see and say, I need to speak with Onda.
Onda.
Onda. Not Dra. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I was up all night.
And it's actually at that point again that Ceradyn, I need to speak with Onda. The clerk doesn't seem to, they notice it, you can tell, but it's like bows and goes to the back. In the back, you hear crashing glass. Ah, shit! Wait,
You're gonna love
he's
it.
here? He's back? And somebody comes running out, and she has one of these monocles that is actually like a stepped, kind of like microscopic lens. And the other one is a monocle that actually expands the other direction. Her eye looks huge on this side and tiny on this side. And she turns, oh, Chief, you're back. Oh, I sent you. Oh, turns these up, and suddenly her eyes are back to normal again. The goggles are mounted onto like this headband. I'm glad you're back. That blizzard last night, were you stuck in that?
Yes, but we found a nice, cozy trunk to sleep in through it. So we were safe.
Okay. Well, were you successful?
I would say so, and I'll go into the bag of holding. The first thing I'll pull out is those 2 vials of ooze that I gathered right before we
She
started.
kinda-
This is from. Oh crap! You said the name earlier. I was going to remember it, and I have it written down. I just don't know where it is.
The encephalon.
Encephalon, yeah. This is from what is called an encephalon. This is what was left of it, at least.
Well, I've got no idea what that is, but I'm willing to take a look.
Yeah, I figured if it's something useful, you might like it.
Of course. She kind of takes the vials, start looking at them, turning them.
I ran into a pale hydra while I was out there as well. And I'll start pulling out the pieces.
Oh.
The different hydra parts. The 15 white scales, 2 pristine claws, 4 teeth, and the heart.
And the heart, as you remove it, is caked in rime frost.
Even with it being in the bag of holding? Oh yeah, bag of holding.
Yeah. Yep. It is itself propagating cold. And from Chief's shoulder, Ceradyn, you feel the wave of cold as this heart is removed from the bag. And the bag, it opens up to about this, and the heart is about that. So it's a little bit of a finagle to get it out, but this wave of cold hits you.
Just
as he
ruffle. That's it.
And then
Okay. But you have more?
I have some other things as well. And then I'll pull out the frills.
Okay.
I can't remember the 3 frills that you said I got from that
Mhm.
gemstone axolotl.
Okay.
Oh, these came from a funny little guy. that would
They
glow.
look to be a little bit dimmed in color, only a bit. Not perfectly fresh, but she does look at him and goes, What is this from?" He reaches out and takes one. It's a little
I'll go
sticky.
on and I don't think Chief would actually know what it was.
No.
I don't remember. I'll just describe what it looked like. It was,
She's like, "Huh." And elemental abilities. I mean, this has to have some kind of use. This is interesting. Okay, let me set that down.
and then
You have 3. Okay, 3 of them. All right.
and, presents aren't over yet.
Presents. I get these. I get these for free.
Well, hopefully we could make the cost of what I need you to do for me a little bit lower.
Okay. Okay. I see.
But and then I'll pull out the chunks of ore that I have, the 5 pounds worth. There's this. I'm not
I
sure
like
if you could
the
use
gold.
the gold ore, yeah. And then I'll pull out after that the 40 pounds of unknown crystals.
Okay,
So,
which is of assorted sizes and types from the cave, right?
Yeah. You said they were unknown to me, so I put unknown.
Yes.
Thing.
And this effective, to her treasure trove that is building on her counter, she just starts to picks up some of the gold ore. Where did you find this?
I'll pull out the map and
Okay.
I went to over here where the mines were, but it looked like it was all too traveled, so I went to the left and found a big old gap that looked like has been hardly touched. So I went in there and just kept going down, which is where I met the previous owner of that goo.
All right.
Which is also
You said
where...
this. Okay, hold on.
Go ahead.
You said this was from an encephalon. From what part?
I honestly don't know. It kind of got squished to death.
Oh, so like humors and okay. It said goo and anyway, gold ore.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the gold in the world is mined in Marquette. It's important in enchanting, and unrefined gold I can make direct use of, but if you could sell the information for that location to a prospector.
Have you point me in the direction of one, and I can do that.
Steven! And the attendant comes. The clerk that was manning the desk comes running back in. Get the name of a prospector. Okay? He's like, of course, lady. All right,
Then,
so that's cool.
For what you
All
originally sent me there for, and start pulling out the soul stones, making it so my body's blocking them, and so it's like so no one behind me can see.
And at this point, no one else is in the shop.
And then, so I'll pull out the 3 of them, and then the one bigger one.
You pull out the 3, and it's like, okay, those should definitely work for. Oh my!
And then I'll pull out the glasses out of my normal bag and says, "See what you can make of this." And just look through
What are
those at
these?
the big one.
She puts them on. You have ethereal glasses?
Yeah, they were kind of acquired on my journey here.
Who are you?
I am Chief.
She picks it up. The soulstone that has something in it. How is that possible? How is
I'm not sure.
How is there an entity trapped in natural crystal that hasn't been refined?
From
I don't
what
understand.
I understand, the Cephalon in this chamber, if anything would get down there, would trap them inside of these. Which, that's a funny story for later.
I'd certainly love to hear it. I may be able to determine what's in this, but I want to handle, everything else first. Okay. Oh, I mean, just the Hydra parts alone. So out of all of this, are you wanting elemental crystals? Oh, these are in good shape, good condition. A couple of large ones too. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to make a trip to that cave because this is fantastic. Was it exceptionally dangerous?
Which is no longer a problem. And
Okay.
the creature that these frills came from, which is also no longer a problem. There might be other things in there, I don't know.
Yeah,
But it is
something else
kind
will
of
move in and make its home.
Kind of an angled walkway as well. So.
Oh, okay. So not like the easiest to traverse. Yeah, just these elemental crystals. These are interesting too. So these can be used to so you can just directly draw the elemental energy from them to infuse them into something else, or you can use them as a focus by themselves. They can be refined and set and enchanted directly. If you're like some kind of magic user that, you like fire or something. So she picks up the largest of the red crystals. You could probably have this for a hefty price enchanted into a well-made staff to kind of amplify fire. They're really hardy. They can continually process elemental energy and ether. This is a good find, and it's so much of it. Now I'll be honest. So, what you're asking for? You're asking for these soul stones, this soul crystal, to be refined.
I would need at
enchanted.
least 2 of them to be able to do what I'm doing. Yes.
Okay, so you'll have a spare. That's not cheap. Okay, it is not cheap. It is controlled by the Empire. I'm licensed. I can do it. It's not cheap. I know that there's another person that's licensed here in Rexxentrum. They're not going to beat my price, and they're a pompous asshole. But I need to do some appraising, and at this point, she kind of gets into really digging through things, taking measurements. She pulls out these calipers that, as she closes them, this little dial changes on them, and she's really getting into the specifics, writing a lot down. You guys have
she's
a little
doing
bit
that.
of time
I'll grab
here.
those glasses and put it back in my bag.
Of course. But while she's doing that, the two of you have a little bit of time.
Do you know of any, as she's doing her Kelly, do you know of any adventurers that went out that may not have returned, that would have had a spyglass of sorts?
Spyglass? And
that,
she's doing this while she's looking through things.
Showed you 2 images when you looked
She
through.
looks up at you, and again, the big eye and the little eye through the lenses. I mean, we lose adventurers like every week. As far as like what equipment any of them would be carrying, I don't really know.
Okay, and the other question is, do you know of anybody that works on things like me?
Why do you ask?
My friend here, as I gesture to my shoulder, says I've been acting a little strange the last couple of nights. Not waking up when I'm supposed to. He's worried.
It's a little vague. Any other details?
I think I would like to flutter over to a desk.
Okay.
In front.
Goes, whoa.
And so, excuse me, I'm Ceradyn Silvertail.
Oh, I thought you were crazy. Okay,
I'm
it's
big
nice
enough
to meet
be
you,
crazy.
Ceradyn. It's nice to meet you, Ceradyn.
Pleasure's mine.
So, any other details that are pertinent to that concern?
He went into a sort of standby mode, which is normal. It's his version of sleep, from what I've gathered.
Yeah.
Twice now, he was not easily roused at all. He got stuck in this state. And had to be hurt to be awoken. First by me, then Master. And so I'm worried that I won't be able to wake him. I'm not big enough to wake him by normal means, of course.
Well, I mean, so automaton. So, I mean, you look like, there's modern automaton. Most of them aren't made sentient because of all of the moral implications, right? Now, like you're doing, Chief, it's an animal. We're not too worried about that. A lot of older automaton are actually aormatons from a long, long time ago, made with technology that we still haven't caught back up to, but we're getting close. And rather than being powered directly by a soul, like we've been, delving into now, you have your own ether collection. And I'm wondering if that's had something happen to it. Why would this damage have happened? Why do you think this malfunction's happening, Chief? You are muted.
I'm not sure why it has occurred, but over the last, you say I was gone for a week, probably.
Yeah, about.
Within the last week, I've been separated from my body. Once inside of a big old soul crystal by that cephalon. Managed to get out. Thank you, Ayun. And another time we were being chased by the cephalon, and we found a weapon that I think mentally drew me in to help fight.
Okay, I might have more questions about that later. You said the encephalon trapped you, so... And she pulls back up that crystal that has something in it. So this happened to you?
Briefly, yes.
Oh, wow. So look, when it comes to modern aormatons, or modern automatons, sorry, not aormatons, we've got a pretty good understanding about how these soul crystals embed the soul and make it interact with the new body. That's pretty much known science and known arcana at this point. You don't have a soul crystal, do you?
No, not that I've discovered.
And you've showed me, some of your power source and stuff. I've not delved into, your core to find your ether collection and connections to explore other functions and stuff, but the soul for aormatons they were fully synthetic. Now that I'm not saying you're not real, Chief. Okay, but you're different. Okay. We don't have a good understanding of how those souls were tethered to the Aormaton body.
I don't think he's synthetic.
I understand. Like I'm not trying to say something that's meant to cause offense.
No. I understand that perfectly well.
And no offense.
He did, in explaining his experience within the crystal to me a little bit, he did tell me a name of possibly himself.
I'm a little confused.
You told me you were Illifrid Fizbane. I don't know if that name means anything to you, but I recognize it, and I want you to come with me later for that.
I mean, I don't recognize it, but wait, hold on. Let me see if I understand what you're suggesting. You're a soul that doesn't belong in that body?
That would be the assumption, yes. I woke up in this body, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, not knowing who I was or my purpose, other than I was chief and I wanted to help people. And recently, what Ceradyn just explained was brought to light.
This is some heavy stuff. First of all, yeah, I'm sorry for saying that you were synthetic. Again, it's more like just like a, yeah, it's just an arcanical term, right? It's anyway. If you are indeed a mortal soul that's been bound to an Aormaton, whatever is holding you there, I mean, it's not perfect. Nothing mortals have ever made is perfect. Even a mortal soul to a mortal body and its connection made by the gods isn't perfect. So, I don't even know how you would approach this, though.
Well, anyone you know, or even you yourself, can figure it out. I'm more than willing to.
I mean, I do automaton repair, and I can poke around. I've even worked on a couple of Aormatons, and gotten to know some of the more complex, more like mysterious mechanisms, and grown to understand a couple of them. So I'm more than willing to look around, and I do that free of charge because it's not to. It's a good learning experience for me as well, right?
I think if we can find him more stability, I would like to take him to Zerash, where the reserve is.
Okay. I mean, there might be a lot of books, even here at the Cobalt Reserve, worth looking into. And I imagine the archivists there are probably more than willing to help research into something like this. Like this would be the first I've ever heard of anything like this happening. It's one thing to find an Aormaton and bring them back online. It's another to supposedly inject a new soul. That's
So yeah, those are
some
the
groundbreaking
things,
stuff.
Those are the things we're here for today. Figure that out.
Okay, well.
And what you suggested, find a prospector for the information.
Yes.
And what you are calculating for the soul stones.
So here's the thing. I've kind of gone through everything here. If you have me refine the 2 stones that you need, as well as find a suitable soul, which is simple enough. You just wanted subservient hogs, right?
Yeah.
Relatively intelligent. Yeah, so some trained hogs, that's easy enough. They're raised for stuff like this. Not necessarily soul magic specifically, but anyway. That's normally about 8,000 gold apiece. You have a great deal of things here. For all of it, I could do the 2 crystals and then pay you 500 gold. Unless there's anything specific that you want to keep out of this.
Trying to think of the party. Chief would like to pick out something for each member of the party. Nothing big.
Okay.
Of the ones he doesn't know of Cyrnos, obviously, but
Right. Or
for the
Arnie.
other one, yeah. So for Zanisha and
It's a
Shem, and also pick out something for Ceradyn. Other than that,
okay. So, from what's here, there's another soul crystal that could be used somehow. There's the Hydra parts. And this is where, between the 2 of you, but mostly you, Chief, it's kind of up to your imagination. What do you want to try to do?
I'm gonna turn
Go
to
ahead.
Chief and just be like, perhaps we keep that gold in order to better make a deal with the prospector. And then
As
we
she
can bring
kind of
it back.
pushes that forward. Oh, yes, I intended for you to, keep that.
Okay.
Might want to type in the schedule. So
Yeah,
not
I
yet.
got it. But go ahead, Chief.
Let's see. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is just me. So Shem, has a lot of stuff to do with fire and forge because of forge stuff, right?
Fire, the forge, crafting, stuff like that.
I'd like to take a gem for him.
Okay.
And then would I know what elemental type would best suit Zanisha?
In the time that you saw her, you never saw the expression of elemental energy.
I'd like to grab a yellow one for her. Yeah.
Yellow one. Okay. A lightning energy.
And then Ceradyn, you're here now. Which little gem do you think you would like?
Oh. Really?
And you would have been here for the explanation of what they could do.
Cursory glance over all of them, because now I'm curious. What colors do we have here?
So there's red, blue, yellow, green, and so there's There's kind of a dark blue and a lighter blue. So red, blue, yellow, green, light blue.
I think, let's see, looking at these, he would probably be thinking about the green because it's poison dagger, or the light blue because it goes good with his feathers.
It's up to you.
And I think I'll do the light blue because I think that could be
Okay.
interesting. What about this one? Would this be okay, Chief?
We'll look over to Onda.
She says that's an air elemental crystal. That's
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll take one a little bigger than I grabbed for Sachem of a red one for myself. And then of the 5 pounds of gold, I'll leave a pound of it for Andra. And then we'll take
Okay. She says, all right. I mean, that really only cuts it down to me paying you 300 gold instead of 500. So I'd be still doing the service.
Why don't we say you can keep the 300 gold for finding the prospector for us?
Okay.
Kind of like a consignment.
I mean, I'm not going to decline. Finder's fees are good by me.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. I don't have much use for gold, and my friend Ceradyn, he's small, so he doesn't tend to eat much. And
right. Well,
Ceradyn's not responding from that at all. Like he's just nope.
She kind of waves her hand in the air, and actually this kind of like ethereal chest appears in the air, which she then kind of pushes. So when she opens it, the lip is kind of flush with the table. And she goes, I am going to have a lot of fun stuff to do. And she kind of pushes it all into it. And as everything crosses the threshold of this chest, it kind of just disappears into the chest. Closes it, and the whole chest disappears. But left out are the 2 crystals. I can have these done in about 2 hours. Is that good with you?
yeah, and in that time frame, we'll go see about what Ceradyn's worried about for me.
We'll go see the prospector, and then we'll return to you for him.
Okay. For the sake of brevity, seeing the prospector is a relatively routine thing. You're selling the basically again a finder's fee or the location of gold ore among a multitude of other supplies. And initially a kind of a paltry sum is offered, but as you describe the rest of the cave, it explodes a little bit. Just go ahead and one of you roll a persuasion check.
I think I would like to, since I'm good with information, I think I would step in to try and help barter. So I don't know if you want to roll with advantage for this, or if you want me to roll.
No, let's have both of you do it separately.
Okay.
And I would have the gold ore on display too while we're chatting.
Well, of course. Yeah, I meant that would have to be verified. Okay.
21.
Wow.
25.
Oh, okay. You're given the spiel about, you drive a hard bargain, but in the end, for the information and the specific descriptions, as well as being able to provide proof, especially considering you're carrying some of the elemental crystals with you, you are paid 1,900 gold in total for the information.
Okay. That's
Right.
Genetic.
You are able to make your way back to the Enchantress. She already has waiting for you, sat on this light blue velvet sheet. When you walk in, 2 soul crystals. They've been cut into, like the stereotypical crystal that you see, where it's, it's got like the 4 facets, and then it goes to 6 facets around the sides. They're very uniform, very cleanly polished. And she sets her hands on them and kind of slides them forward a little bit. As requested, 2 soul crystals imbued with the souls of some rather obedient hogs.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you'll get more
Of course.
business soon. We just gave the information, sold the information to the prospect.
Yes, the influx of elemental crystals ought to be... That's going to have an interesting impact here in Rexxentrum. So we'll see.
And
These should be ready to install.
do you want me to leave this bigger soul stone with you to figure it out, or do you want me to?
I spent a good deal of time thinking about that. I don't even know where to begin to approach it. I have to be honest. I only understand when there is a defined arcana that binds a soul intentionally to a refined and, again, intentionally enchanted crystal. For there to be something inside of an unhewn, unrefined, unenchanted crystal, it's way outside my ability.
No, I'll keep a hold of it. Maybe someday, if I find it out, I will let you know.
It's kind of along the same lines as your issue. But there you have in hand the 2 soul crystals. Gonna go install them.
Well, all that's left to do is figure out what's wrong with me now, right, Ceradyn?
If you're up for it. Still.
And that you wanted to go to Zadash, correct?
If you're okay
Cobalt
giving
soul.
him a cursory look over to make sure, hopefully, that he can make it there.
Oh, of course. Come on back to the back, Chief. And what the 2 of you see back there is effectively an engine hoist, where Chief is kind of laid flat, flipped over, facing down, and then lifted up so that she is up underneath him, kind of has access to his whole body. Chief, she goes through and she removes a good number of the armor plates, exposing... I mean, you're naked, effectively. Ceradyn, it's a bit odd, as normally when somebody takes off armor, right? It's like a body that's revealed. But instead, what's revealed is mechanisms. Minute, whirring gears and a mechanical flesh that is constantly shifting, changing. Like,
I think
clockwork.
with the information broker side of Ceradyn here is just like, like just drawn in, like hyper attentive and kind of excited to see these inner workings.
Down the middle of your chest, Chief, when the armor is removed, there is a seam. And a little bit of work, a little bit of poking and prodding, and a little bit of ooh from you, eventually does open, and like a steam or a vapor does pour out at the same time, and a faint green light is emitting from inside. And she's there looking at it. She then, now that she's kind of worked you over, turns you back so you're in a standing position, still not tied down, but supported by the hoist. She looks around inside. Ceradyn, do you move to have a good view?
Yeah, I was gonna say I would like to, if you're okay with it. Like, I don't know workings, but I wanted to see it as well, whether that's insight to details or whatever.
The inside of Chief, right in the center, there is a structure of a glowing crystal. It is emitting not a faint, but a consistent green light. It's not quite enough to cast shadows onto the walls as people stand in front, but it's pretty solid. There are cages and connections and wires and tubes coming from it that go everywhere in the body. She says, this is the Aeorian ether collector. This connects him to the ether that's all around us all the time. When he sleeps, goes into standby. This is regaining energy. But all the other systems have to shut down for this to work. Ceradyn, make a perception check. She goes low and under it first, and is like, she's not really moving things around, but she's very, very gently like peering past it. And while she goes low, you go high, and there is a tube or some piece that kind of looks like it's just hanging free. She's down low, looking at everything.
Excuse me. There's a piece that looks unattached up here.
Oh. Chief, give me a second. And she kind of has to reach up and back and in. She's like, she pulls the telescope down. She goes, "Oh, don't do that." And the telescoping eye actually snakes forward and goes into Chief. She goes, "Oh, that is disconnected. Oh, see, here's the thing." Okay, and it retracts. It could have always been like this. I Chief, and she steps out in front of you. Your body is thousands of years old. It's from the Age of Arcana. Before the divergence, before the calamity, you were made either in Aeor or what's the other flying city? What is it called? And Ceradyn,
Avalier.
Avalier. Yes. Avalier. Look, there's a risk associated with this. Now, we know something's wrong, right? This is the first thing we found. And I'm willing to, there's a spot that it looks like it's supposed to go into. It's up to you, though, Chief.
If it's a possibility to where it'll help me be somewhat back to normal, I say go ahead and connect it.
All right, Mr. Ceradyn, you might want to step back a little bit. Although, as her eyes, the telescoping eye snakes through again. Although if this goes off, we're all dead. And you hear just a click, and there's this flash of green light, and she is thrown and the wall is only about 6 or 7 feet behind her. She, ow, Chief. There's a bit of a surge for you, and then things seem to settle. She goes, oh, the telescoping lens is busted. Ah, shit. Throws it off to the
What
side.
happened?
Oh, well, I mean, it's connected, whatever it was. So honestly, I'm pretty confident. Okay, this had something to do with your ether collector's connection to just you. There's still some wonkiness about how you're not the original soul for this body. But you would just have to try to rest and see what happens, you know?
Maybe on our journey to Zadesh, we'll see how it goes.
Goodness. Oh, okay.
Perhaps for more safety, maybe you should do it here. That way she can keep an eye on.
No, I mean, resting should be fine. I mean, the worst thing is it did nothing or did something else, and he's hard to wake again. At least, best I can tell.
I'm concerned with him waking because I'm so small. I have trouble waking
how were
him.
How were you waking him before? What did you say? You're burning him?
Well,
He was trying to hurt me.
I took rocks from the fire and wedged it in between underneath his armor. I used a shocking grasp on him even at one point.
Hold on. So, I have an idea. And she grabs this chest, pulls it out, actually unlocks it and opens it up. And she pulls out this, it's not quite a vial. It's more like a crystal flask of some sort. Almost looks like a lantern, but, small. She flips it open and this, just faint blue mist kind of drifts out of it, closes it again. So if the problem is ether collection, he's not waking, she reaches over to you, Ceradyn, and hands it to you. This is ether. This is pure ether. This, spellcasters use this when they've depleted their ability to cast spells. They hit it, and they're able to cast another spell. Probably, usually just one. If he's not rousing because he's not collecting ether, I mean, this should restore it. But I wouldn't see any reason that this wouldn't kickstart things if there's still an issue. And then definitely in Zadesh, if you're hitting up the Cobalt Soul, they have a lot of research there, as well as scientists and arcanists. So
That
probably
is
be fine.
There is a very main reason for the information there. I wish to take him, and I lift up my feathers to show my emblem on the belt.
You work for the Cobalt Soul, the Cobalt Reserve. Sorry. Yeah. So I kind of see why you're traveling together now. Chief was telling me about the Watchers a little bit, and yeah, it makes sense.
I love this chit chat, but can I get put back together?
Oh, sorry. As Chief is sitting, every section of him is splayed out and opened, and his head is open. I'm so sorry. This, normally an automaton is shut down for this. Normally they don't complain. And she closes you up.
Complaining, just like to move.
I put the ether in my bag, and I'm gonna ask her, is there a way for me to impart ether onto him if I don't have one of these? I do have some knowledge of arcane.
So there are specific spells to be able to transfer ether. You'd have to learn them.
I'll check at the reserve. Thank you.
Of course.
As she's putting me back together, I was like, so, is there a fast way to get me, Master Ceradyn, and my new cart to Zadesh?
Well, I mean, the souls that are going to be implanted in this, I'd say ride.
Right.
If you have the money, I guess you could charter an airship, but I don't think that'd be too much faster, considering these things can kind of just go.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for everything.
Of course,
Yeah.
and now that this last piece of armor, last shoulder plate, you're back in one piece, Chief.
As we leave, I'll just say, hope to see you again someday. Maybe under
I
less
hope so,
personal circumstances. But
You're gonna make me blush. All right. You guys have a
I'll
good
buy
time
you a
out
drink
at the
next
dash.
time.
All right. You don't drink though.
Doesn't mean I can't buy you one.
All right.
When we get back to the warthogs, well, to the cart, I'll slide them in, the soul stones into the slots that I made, and if they power
Go
up, I'll write a
ahead.
little note saying, headed out to the watchers.
Okay. Go ahead and just make a pair of dexterity checks. This is a moment that it kind of all comes down to.
Dexterity check, not save. 7.
Okay. The first one, it goes a little shaky. It's a little bit concerning. At first, you're concerned that maybe the dimensions you provided maybe weren't right. And then it finally zoom, connects into place. And this little goes into the body. And you see just barely starts to shift and turn a little bit.
Going off of the trajectory that I had that one, I will try to hit that same trajectory on this next one.
Okay.
And I nail the landing.
And you line it up perfectly. You realize that you were off a facet and snaps right in, then wave of energy. Both of them, they have a little bit of vocalization, it seems.
I'll close them both up. I'll call you Brute. I'll call you Grunt.
Of course. And with that, the two of you are able to mount.
I'll leave the note for the watchers saying where we're going if they need contact. Throw any provisions needed that is in the area for Ceradyn and head out. And if there is a charge on my ring of sending, I will
There would be, yes.
I will send a message, simple message to Sashem. Saying we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Just we will see you soon.
Mm-hmm. As you exit the city gate and the freshly snowed landscape extends out before you, heading south on your way to Zadash. Brand new pair of warthogs driving the up-armored and fully covered cart. That's where we're going to end your session.
Cool.